The policy-driven interests actually have to do with, in the end, they have to do with Israel and with control of Middle East oil. These have been the two driving forces of all Western policy towards the Middle East ever since the late 1940s. From the overthrow of the Mossadegh government in Iran, 1953, these have been the two interests. And here they were both at work. The real problem, the problem for them, in this particular case for the West, arose after Iraq was destroyed. Iraq had been the ally of the Americans. It had signed a secret treaty with the Americans 1 month before it attacked Iran in 1979 or 1980. But in 2003, they destroyed Iraq. Iraq was a secular country, totally secular, and therefore, although there was a Shia majority, and although the Khomeinism infection of the Shia majority was prevented by rather brutal methods that Saddam Hussein employed, of collective punishment. That was the method he used. In spite of that, the fact is that it stopped the Iranian Shia influx westwards completely. But then, when Iraq was destroyed in 2003, that barrier was removed. It became clear to America that there's not going to be a secular democracy here, modern democracy. It's going to be a Shia-dominated democracy, which has no interest in modern things. It has no interest in making peace with the Sunnis of Iraq. And they're out to get them, every last one of them. That Shia-dominated government, in turn, is only able to stay in power because of the support of Iran. So it is completely and totally with Iran. And suddenly you found that you had actually expanded Iran's sphere of influence to cover this huge area. Next to Iraq was Syria. Next to Syria was Lebanon. So in the 2006 war, the Israelis privately blamed the US's 2003 destruction of Iraq for the failure to impose their objectives in their attack on Lebanon. And the way that because the Hezbollah was fully rearmed, ever since then, one of the main policy goals of the strategy and military thinkers in the US has been to break what has come to be called the Shia crescent. Okay. For that, they turned to Turkey. And the Democrat Party, as it's called now, the present, the White Party, is actually, its full name is the Islamic Party for Justice and Development. And this party is a wholly Muslim Brotherhood party. So Turkey, in fact, had been saying that the way to break the Shia crescent is by installing a Sunni moderate government in Syria. And because Syria has always been Sunni and moderate, and always been moderate and secular, and it's more than 70% Sunnis, the chances of doing so are very bright. This had been in the works for quite a long time, but it got accelerated by the Arab Spring. When the Arab Spring came, they said, this is our moment. We've got the chance, let's do it. Because, why? Because Cairo was going under a government which is going to be quite clearly moderate Islamist, they hoped, but and democratic. So if Syria could be had, then from Turkey all the way across the Mediterranean, right through to the edge of Libya, and Libya had also been taken over, they thought they would have moderate democratic governments of moderate Sunni Islam. So the threat from the Islamists would be met finally by enlisting moderate Sunni Islam. And this, they thought, would also take care of the threat to Israel. Where they miscalculated was that there are no two views in the Arab world on Israel. And the Islamists are 10 times harder on Israel, on the need to obliterate Israel, than any other elements in Arab society. For instance, Syria is the one country that negotiated with Israel for 10 years in the 1990s and had also negotiated in 2007-2008 a secret agreement with Israel that they would control the Hezbollah and make sure that they did not fire any more rockets into Lebanon, but into northern Israel. But in exchange, Israel would give back Golan Heights and Shaba. Israel reneged on this, but the Syrians have kept to their promise.